The secret to our success is Sonia being a superhero.
This cape is all my secrets.
Okay, who would like to kick us off? Thanks, Em. Go for it.
Congratulations, Sonia.
Thank you.
Is it unrivaled? Is that what it says on the back?
I think so.
I
didn't read. I just put in my shoulders.
Well, you're right. You are unrivaled this season. Obviously, domestically unbeaten, officially now a treble winner. You must feel on top of the world at the moment.
Yeah. Feelings are great. Sometimes difficult to describe them with some words, but it feels really great. You know, when you, again, this season has been tough. When you are able to achieve a treble and domestically to be as much dominant as we have been, I think you really need to enjoy that. Again, I think all the credit to my players because, again, today they performed really well. I think we had a strong performance. So, we just showed our mentality, our values in this game. And I think to be able to end the season in almost a perfect scenario. We won. We were playing in Wembley. Stadium was almost sold out. And we had a strong performance, a strong result, I think, against a strong opponent. That's almost the ideal way to end the season.
What made the difference today, do you think?
I think the first 10 minutes we struggled a little bit. I think probably also because when you play this type of games, a final, sold out stadium, the atmosphere, I think even if I have a lot of experience in my squad, sometimes you stress a little bit and the pressure is okay to have the pressure, but sometimes when it's too high, you don't start the way we wanted to start, but after that we were confident enough to turn things around. And I think, after the 10 first minutes, we were a better team. We were stronger, I think. We deserved to win today. And we were in control of the game almost for the rest of the game.
You think you're only going to get better now? Is it scary for everyone else?
I mean, that's our ambition for sure, because we just mentioned it feels really great to be dominant in England. But when you think about it, we didn't win the Champions League. And I think our goal and our ambition is to make sure we compete against the best teams in Europe. Barcelona for sure, but also teams like Lyon. So I think, when you think about it, I'm going further in my answer, but everyone is saying, maybe Chelsea will run away from the pack in the league in England, but our goal for us is to compete against the best team in Europe. So it's nice to have this domestic trouble, but again, we want to make sure in the future and hopefully next season we are able to compete against the best team in Europe.
Just quickly from me, did the kids bring the tennis rackets? Did you see Serena and Alexis?
Yeah, really nice. Again, when I found out about the news, I was really excited for them to join the club. I think they were here today to show their support. And you can feel from the beginning they have the right mentality coming into Chelsea. I think it was the best way to welcome them as well with this game, this final and this result. But these people are so much passionate about the women's sport and about the women's game. So it's so nice to have them around and to enjoy and to just be with them in this moment.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Kit, thank you.
Hi, Sonia. Congratulations.
Thank you.
No one we've asked you to kind of analyse this season, you've mentioned kind of the slight disappointment in the Champions League that you mentioned again there, but domestically, could this season have gone any better for you?
No, in terms of result, no. I think we had almost the ideal season. We only dropped, few points, 6 points in the league. We won the two of the trophies, the FA Cup final and also the Subway Cup. So I think, when you analyse that in terms of results, I think it's ideal and perfect almost.
And felt like Sandy Baltimore, obviously with 2 goals and an assist, had a pretty good game today and feels like she had a pretty good season. How, I suppose, fitting an end to her season was that performance today?
Yeah, I mentioned that. I think, to be fair, it's difficult to only mention one player name in our season because to achieve the treble, you have to be able to have a team performance all through the season. But Sandy has been incredible, especially because I think the team was performing well. And it's always, and I mentioned that before, it's always easier when the team is performing for an individual to perform. But Sandy had an incredible season. I think for her first year in England, she adapted well and quickly in the team, in the league, and I think she had a big impact in our results and performances this season.
And finally, just quickly going back to Alexis and Serena, I think we've seen a video of you having a quick chat with them after the game today. Can you say what were you discussing with them? Were you talking about Chelsea? Were you talking about your second serve? What were you talking about?
Yeah, we talked a little bit about tennis. I was asking them if their kid were playing football, and obviously they said no, tennis, which makes sense because I was trying to have one of their kid coming and signing for Chelsea. But no, we were talking about the game today, the performance, the success in the FA Cup final, and I think I just told them like I was really excited and happy for them to join the club, and I welcome them to the club.
Tom next, please, just behind you. Thanks.
Sonia, congratulations.
Thank you,
could I
Tom.
just follow up on that? When you have such great representation from the ownership, sporting directors, all of the board, etc., what kind of lift do you think that gives your players for a final like this? And then I suppose the second part of that question, do you feel a bit sorry for the Manchester United players that their owner was not here, Sir Jim Ratcliffe? And like, can you give us a bit of understanding of the contrast in the two and the impact for the players and the lift of their mood?
Yeah, for sure, it's a big lift. When we talk about having the right support coming from everyone in the club, today just shows everyone is really involved in this women's team, and it feels great. I was lucky enough to come from a club where it was the case before with Jean-Michel Aulas. He was always coming into every game, and I think that's the most important for people to show their support coming into the games and just having the right words in the right moments when you are high, but also sometimes when you are low. And I think, that's really enjoyable for us to see all the people coming from the ownership were here today, but even more important to feel they were really behind the team, supporting the team. We knew they were coming, and also we had a lot of support coming from them before the game, during all the week, and also on game day. So I think just shows as a woman, when you play in football and women's game, you are in the right club, and you really want to give that back on the pitch for all these people.
And could I ask if when you accepted the job, if somebody had said you're going to win the treble in your first season, what would you have said to them?
Not sure. I will achieve that in my first season in Chelsea, because I knew I was coming in such a strong league, competitive league, even if I knew I was coming into a club with a lot of ambitions. But for you in your first season to be able to adjust, know everything about the club, the players, the squad, the staff, it's tough, and you need to do that as quick as you can, and in the same time perform in terms of results with your team. So I could have probably not expect that. It's almost ideal in terms of domestic dominance. Thank you.
Catherine next, please.
Hi, Sonia. I think it was Aki that described the club as unapologetically ambitious. Alexis mentioned it at half-time. It feels like a kind of fitting description of this Chelsea team, and I'm sure you're probably already thinking about kind of next season and how to get better as well. Yeah.
I mentioned that before, but I already started to reflect on the season and to think about the future. I think, again, it goes back to, I think we were dominant this season in England, but we need to make sure we are going in the right direction to be able to compete against the best teams in Europe. And I think for that reason, we are super happy to have achieved a treble, but we didn't win the Champions League, which was also one of our goals. And I think when we talk about our ambitions, I had some words, I'm not going to mention some names, but we were super happy to enjoy the treble, but some of the people who were on the pitch were already mentioning we are missing the Champions League. So that's who we are, and that's normal. And I totally respect that, because even myself, I just said I want to come to Chelsea and make sure we are all able to achieve that goal, to win the Champions League with the club. So we have that ambitions, and I think we need to go in the right direction to be able to do that and achieve that goal.
Amy next, please.
Hi, Sonia.
Hi, Amy.
I know you've mentioned before about Katerina Macario kind of building her back up because she had 2 years out. How encouraging has the little glimpses she's shown, today, a few other substitute appearances when she scored, how encouraging is that for you, but going forward, hoping that, maybe she can get back to the incredible player she was when you won the Champions League at Lyon?
Yeah, I'm probably the best person to know that, because as you just mentioned, I think when we won the Champions League, she was incredible in that final, but also all through the season, her level was really high. And I think, we are trying to get her in that place. Today, she just showed how much quality she has and how much talent she has as a player. I think we know exactly how we need to work with her. She's on the same page. She knows exactly how we want to work with her, and I think that's the most important. And I'm confident, because I think Kata is a player who really wants to work hard. She wants to go in the right direction, and she's really ambitious. So we mentioned, if you want to lift more trophies, you have to have in your squad quality and talent, and Kata is one of them.
And from the outside, to play the system you did today, which was a little bit different to Liverpool, but we've not seen that really this season. Is that something you've been cooking up in the background, or was there how risky did you feel it was, from the inside to play that? Because I suppose if it goes wrong, then you get 20 questions about it here.
Yeah, that's why being a manager is sometimes tough, and why I mentioned when it's working, all the credit to the players. But I think it's important for me to just give clarity on the game plan to going into every game to my players, because it brings them a lot of confidence. And I think probably also I want to mention my assistant coach, Camille Abili, and Théo Riverain, my two assistant coaches, because I think we probably know a lot when we go into a game what we need to do with the system, with the organization in the team, defensively, offensively. And we knew from the beginning, after the Liverpool game, this is the way we wanted to play today for different reasons. And I'm not going to give all the details because I want to keep some secrets for next season. But we started to work from Tuesday until Saturday on this system, and hold the details defensively and offensively where we could hurt Man United. And I think when you are able to do that all through the week with different training sessions, brings the confidence to the player, and going into the game they know exactly what they need to do in every position and as a team. And I think it was not a lot of differences from Liverpool, but still some differences were really important for us to cause more trouble to Man United.
And just one more quick one on that. How much trust do you have to have in your players for that to work? Because you say Tuesday to Saturday, that's not a very long time. And some of these players won't have played in that system before.
Yeah. That's sometimes a difficult balance to find, because during the week you work on that. Sometimes you have good answers, sometimes not. And you still have to produce a starting 11 and making sure you give the confidence to the players who are starting the game. But also, as you could see today, it's not only about the 11 who start the games, because I think you need to make sure the ones who are coming in know exactly what they can bring and that instinct in the game. And I think today it showed that. I think all the squad knew exactly what was the game plan. If they were starting the game, what they need to achieve, if they were coming in. And even the ones who were not starting, they were ready to step in and know exactly what they had to do.
Thanks, Amy. Rachel and then Charlotte, please, and then we'll come to Sandra at the back. Thanks for waiting.
Okay. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
Mark Skinner's obviously been in here talking about investment in his club and ambitions on his side of things. He takes a lot of questions about that, but I suppose on the flip side of it, how important is it for you that these clubs that are trying to catch up to you and trying to achieve what you're doing and matching your ambition, particularly when you have these ambitions now to go and conquer Europe, that the domestic side of things remains healthy and that these clubs are matching what you're doing or trying to achieve?
Yeah, I think it's important for most of the teams to invest in women's game, because I think if you have more competition, you are able to perform better. I think even for me, I'm not going to say I want all the other teams to go down, because it will be different. So we want to have competition, because when you know you have to compete, it's where you produce your best. So as a manager, as a club, as a team, as players, I think this is what we want and what we need to be even a better team. I think as a Chelsea team, we want to make sure we want to be the top of the league and bring everyone with us. So this is what we want to achieve, but we need the other teams to still invest and come with us, because coming into this league, I said, like, as a manager, probably when I was in France, to be fair, 80% of our games in the league were games where, even if we didn't play the game plan right, because we had more talent than the other teams, we were able to win. I think here, as a manager, if I don't get the right game plan, I know we can be in trouble. So this is something really great, because it makes us better.
Thank you so much.
Charlotte, next, please. Thank you.
Sonia,
Hi,
sincere congratulations. I remember when I spoke to you last, you were so excited to be stood in that technical area. How satisfying, given that the tactical, the technical, the physical details of today's display were so polished?
Yeah, really pleased with that. Sometimes to be able to win a final, it's a great achievement. But when you are able to win and have a strong performance, it's even better, because you just show you were dominant. And it's a great feeling to feel that after the game, especially in your last game in the season. But again, we prepared this game in the same way as the other games. The maybe mainly difference was the atmosphere was really loud, so the players couldn't listen what I was telling them sometimes. So we also had a really clear plan on that, how I was communicating with the players to make sure if we had something to adjust, we were able to do that. And to be fair, maybe if I would like to have something to change in this league for the future, is for almost all the other teams to stop to have a tactical stoppage during the game, when the players go on the ground, because I think it's not fair for the fans. You want to play this final, you want to be like in as much as you can in the rhythm. And I think we could see today and all through the season, a lot of the time when the coaches want to have a tactical change, they just ask to a player to go on the ground, and they do that, which I never did that this year. And even today, I was trying to find a way to communicate to my players without stopping the game, because I think, again, I want to play, I want to have the ball involved as much as we can. And even for the fans, for them to enjoy the game, I think it's better.
I think that's a very good suggestion. And also, of course, the silverware completing the treble is one thing, but forgive me if it's a little bit personal, but seeing you sort of celebrate with your children as well. We talk about investment, and we've got one of the greatest female athletes of all time watching the game today. How important is it for women's sport to have role models like yourself, your coaching staff, that can be mothers, can be incredibly successful at an elite level, and that representation and visibility in the mainstream has such an impact, not only in women's football, but in wider society as well? How do you feel? Because I think you're a real, beacon for that.
Yeah, it feels great. I started in the beginning, I was one of them who I was thinking it was maybe really difficult to be a high manager and a mom of several kids, I would say. But because I had in my environment people who were giving me that opportunity to find the right balance in my private life and my job, I think I started to believe like it was possible. And I think the example today is the right one, just to be able to be successful with your team, to invest a lot of time and energy with your team, but also find the right balance with your family, and just to give the opportunity to my kids to live these moments here in Wembley. One of them was like asking me at the end, like, is this, talking about Serena Williams, is this person really famous in the world? And I was, I will explain to you who is she, and you will see on the screen later. But just for them to have the opportunity to live that, that's such a dream. So now I want to be I'm almost 45 years old, and I want to be a woman who just set the example for the other women. Not about me talking a lot about it, but just showing that example. And I just want to say, yeah, live your dreams and believe you have the talent, the ability to be in that position, and yeah, just go for it.
Hi, Sonia. Congrats. I just wanted to ask,
Hi,
following on from what
Sandra.
you were saying about Europe and obviously Chelsea with the domestic dominance now. I mean, how much do you want to enjoy this moment and just kind of enjoy this moment? Or is the brain already thinking targets, transfer targets, whatever you need to do? And is the work going to start almost next week in terms of, I want that Champions League now?
Yeah. Watch out, transfer target everywhere. So watch out, every clubs, all the other clubs. No. I think today it's about celebrating. I think that's the right moment to do that. We just achieved the treble. I think to have the opportunity, because the club did great things for us to have the opportunity to celebrate today with friends, family, and all the people who work in the club behind the scenes. I think it's just time to celebrate that, to enjoy. I started to reflect before, but now it's the right time to just enjoy. I'll be reflecting in the future and during my holiday break this summer. But we know already what we want to achieve, where we want to go, and the decisions we need to make to go in the right direction in terms of everything, infrastructure, squad. So we are in a good place in terms of reflection.
Glenn?
There's been some discussion that the league might look to have a playoff system at the end of the season. And you experienced that in France last year. Having done the hard work of winning the league, they then had to do it again. And obviously Lyon have done it again last night. How was that as a coach?
Really difficult. And I was watching the playoff final in France on the Friday evening, Lyon against PSG again. And I was happy for Lyon, obviously for two reasons. I was their manager not a long time ago, but also because when you are able to win the title in the regular season with 10 points ahead or 11 points ahead of the second team, I think it's not fair just to have one game for the other team to try to beat you. Just not fair for all the work you have done during the season, the regular season, just to give the opportunity to other teams, because you never know what can happen in one game. You can get a red card, you can have some players injured in that game, not available. And I think for me, like, the reality is like a championship is one regular season. So I'm a lot against the playoff system. But just because, you work so hard during 10 months and in one night, you can lose everything, which is not fair for me.
And talking of high-profile mums, Sam Kerr obviously hasn't played for you at all while you've been here for a year. She's been out for 16 months now. She's had that difficult experience with the court case. Do you see her as a potential new signing come August effectively for yourself? Or, because she's another year in her contract, is there a sense that maybe it might be a good time for the clubs to part ways?
No, I think I was really sad not to have the opportunity to have Sam with us in the squad involved this season. I think she's a great player. We need to find a way all together, the player, but also the club, to have her back. And I think, it will feel a new signing for me as well, for sure. Because, when we talk about going into these games at the end of the season and to fight for trophies, I think when you have Sam available or not available can make a big difference. So Sam is a scorer, and we need to have some scorers in the team and in these big games.
I didn't see her on the pitch. Was she not here today? As a new mum?
No, not because she's a new mum, but she was not here physically. But she was with us mentally.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any more? Tim, thank you. We'll finish with you.
Sonia, just interested to hear what you were saying about control of a game. Today, of course, there were 2 late goals, so that put the result beyond doubt. But up until then, it was a 1-0 that you appeared to be nursing towards the final whistle. And there have been a few games, even in this invincible season, where you've had to do that. You've had to nurse a 1-0 lead right to the end. Just say something about that game management that you seem to impose so well today in the second half. After, as you said, first 10 or 15 minutes of the first half being, I don't know, maybe the players were a bit overawed by the occasion or whatever it was. But the game management of the second half was sort of textbook.
Yeah, when you want to win, you have to make sure you create opportunities in the box. You want to make sure you bring players in the box. Sometimes the second half, I was telling to some players, make runs and go in the box, because if you don't go with intent, if you don't go in the box, we can't score goals. And I think we create some opportunities. We couldn't score. The first goal we scored on a PK, but we had maybe 2 situations where we could have scored in the first half. And when you are not efficient enough, I think, it brings you to a different game plan where you have to find solutions, maybe bringing some players in to try to change that and to score some goals. So sometimes it's about changing the system, sometimes changing the players, sometimes you have to make that decisions to try to help your team to score and to be efficient, because in the final the most important thing at the end is for you to be efficient, being able to be clinical, score your opportunities, but also not to concede when you are in low moments. So as a manager, when your team is only leading by 1 goal, you need to make sure when you make some substitutions, you bring the right player to score or to create opportunities and to be in a position to score.
Thanks, Sonia. Have a good summer.
Thank you so much. I just want to mention one name. I'm thinking about Paul, because we had a video in my presentation before the game, and he was in the video, and I think if he was here with us, all of us, he will be super proud. So I'm thinking of him and his family. Thank you all for your support and for being here. Also,
thank you.
Enjoy your summer. Bye-bye. Bye.